And we're on the air.
We are live on Suzilla. Hi, everybody. It's Thursday. You know what that means?
Suzilla.
It's Suzilla. So I'm Susie. That's Matt. Hi, Matt.
Hey, Matt.
Hey, Matt. And we are here at Wenatchee Insurance. We are talking about everything we always ever talk about. We talk about whatever we want to talk about. It has a tendency to be business related to start a lot of the time.
Yeah.
And it flies off into different directions. But, thanks for joining us. And we're here every Thursday.
Yeah.
Most Thursday.
Most Thursday. Today we discussed, like, we're going back and forth. And we kind of settled on, we're going to talk about process flow.
Right. Because at this time of year, we're coming into the annual, and we do health insurance.
Mm-hmm.
If you're just joining us. Ooh, I get to say that.
Yes.
Health insurance is one of the things we do. We started with that. We've branched out into property insurance. If you want your car done, we'll take care of it too. But this is coming into. It started on October 1st. Was the preview for Medicare, but the official annual enrollment period for Medicare starts on October 15th. The official enrollment period for individual insurance plans through the ACA starts on November 1st, and it goes basically. And the official cutoff for January 1st start dates is December 15th. It is a 53-day window.
Okay. From October 15th to December 7th.
Which is Medicare.
Which is the Medicare annual enrollment period. Is a 53-day window. We're doing 52 because we take Thanksgiving off.
That's true, we do.
But all along the way.
It's about 45 days for individual.
So we work with these set numbers year round, and what we do with them, because that's the hand we're dealt.
Yep, these are mandated by government agencies,
and then we figure out, okay, how do we interact with as many of our neighbors as humanly possible.
Absolutely. We want to make sure that they know this is happening, especially if they're new to the programs. People who turn 65 this year might not realize there's an enrollment period that comes up at the end of the year.
It's kind of the wild, wild west.
Yeah.
And honestly, there was a lot of things that have been in play to build this particular season that started years ago. Mm-hmm. And most people don't realize that.
Oh, no, they don't get it at all.
But we do our best to walk people through along the way. It's like, okay, this is going to be the next thing that comes up, and this is going to be the next thing that comes up.
Right. We try and be really clear that this is the flow. This is the flow that was set, and this is how we manage our clients, and you can be part of that flow.
Yeah, and it's kind of like one of those wild river rides in the inner tube, where you just kind of go from pool to pool, and you zip to the next pool when you get a chance, and you linger if you find a nice spot for a while, and then you go on to the next one.
Yeah, and then once in a while you come across some rapids.
Yeah, you come across some rapids, and then it's like, okay, it's the ride's done for the year, and you go back and you run up the hill with your inner tube, and you wait in line until you get back on the ride.
There you go.
And that's kind of what we do with Medicare and healthcare.
Yeah, health insurance.
And along the way, we do the little, hey, this is what's going on.
Yes.
Because we have to, kind of watch, what's going on, because a lot of people don't realize it.
Exactly.
And years ago, one of the things that put into motion was the Inflation Reduction Act.
Yes, that was 3 years ago.
Yeah, it's been a while.
Because we're in the next chapter that breaks on January 1st, and that's the third layer, I want to say.
Ooh.
Yeah, so I want to say 3 or 4 years ago it started.
It started. It secured the enhanced tax credits for the individual health care, but it did a lot of things for Medicare.
It did. It locked in the $35 insulin rates. It started the negotiations with Medicare, between Medicare and the drug companies, and
let's
stuff.
Peel it. You're kind of shotgunning what the order of things that are going on.
Okay, so go on.
So for Medicare,
what
occurred was they locked in the $35 insulin. Mm-hmm. They also locked in the including the vaccinations.
Right.
Those were the first two things they did. They said, hey, oh my gosh, in 2025, we're going to start negotiations for 10 drugs.
The negotiations started
last year, and those drug pricings will take effect in 2026.
Right.
In 2025, there's going to be a new set of 15 drugs that get price negotiation for a year, and then they'll be going the following year.
Right. The negotiations with high cost drugs is not going to stop.
But what happened this year, and this is an important thing, is they said, hey, Medicare prescriptions, we want to cap the amount that a consumer pays out at $2,000 for prescriptions. And then they said, hey, you know what? Let's make it even easier we're going to do a payment program.
The Medicare prescription payment plan.
Yes.
And 3P. Sometimes it's referred to as smoothing.
It does. It kind of smooths out. So you don't have that big lump sum at the front. You can smooth it out through the entire year.
You'll end up paying your insurance company the $2,000 in installments instead of paying the pharmacy copays up until you hit the $2,000.
Now, this has freaked out a number of the insurance companies.
Oh, yeah.
Because they have set rules on how they follow things.
That's their flow.
That's their flow. It's like, okay, how do we maintain taking care of our clients, and with the little amount that we get, and providing all the services. Now, last year it was 11% of the Medicare prescription plans boogied out.
They just didn't even want to deal with it.
They said they're not highly rated. They're not selling well. Let's get rid of them. So they dumped 11%. I do not know what the numbers are this year for the amount of plans, but I imagine they have increased. And the reason why I say that the plans have increased, I know of at least 3 Medicare Advantage groups that left Washington State.
Okay, so I can tell you right now, because it's after October 1st, we can look at Medicare.gov and see what's available in different zip codes.
Yeah.
I can tell you right now, Chelan Douglas counties where we live, in 2024, there were 20 Medicare standalone drug plans to choose from. In 2025, there are 12.
So yeah, when we say that there's a significant, we were talking change to everyone. We really started really heavily this year in March.
Yeah.
We started saying, hey, look, there's big changes coming up. Set your fall appointments.
Yeah, and exactly. And we started setting up a flow process to take care of people.
Yeah, because we knew it was going to be big. We didn't know how big it's going to be because everyone's sworn to secrecy that knows anything until October 1st.
Right. And what little hints we got, we of course couldn't talk about it, but we were preparing behind the scenes as best we could.
Well, we could tell people about what was going on with the Inflation Reduction Act.
Oh yeah, that was a huge thing.
And we talked multiple times about it, and it's like, hey, look, this is what's going on. And a great many people did this makes sense. And it's like, yeah, these are good things. And we ended up, I think it was last year, the year before, we started measuring appointments,
quantifying them,
because it's one of the things you do in business is you measure where you're at to figure out if you're where you want to be, or if you need to add something or subtract something to keep moving forward.
Right. And
so it's a measure of flow. And one of the ones we came up was how many appointments we got set in Calendly.
Right. Because we use an automated system called Calendly, where you can go and set an appointment. You can see our calendar, so you can compare it with your calendar. It's a super nifty tool. And
we did that because, like in the early days, of insurance, you'd set an appointment, you'd call them for a reminder. You do a follow-up call, and it is incredibly labor intensive.
It was an entire person's worth of work.
Yeah, and then some.
And then some.
And we kind of said, okay, well, we need to do this in a sane, rational manner so that everyone gets contacted in a timely manner in a way that they can be comfortable with and respond, because it's like, oh my gosh, 2 days before I get this, I need to cancel this. They let us know, and that opens up a slot for the next person.
Exactly.
I think we had like 40 appointments last year during an enrollment cancel.
Oh yeah, it's gonna happen. It happens.
It happens, but when we have a managed system in play like that it's working effectively, we can quickly fill in the spot.
Oh, it's taken literally moments between cancellations and filling in. I have had phone call, hey, I can't make my appointment. Okay, we'll cancel it. We'll reschedule you. And then the next phone call was someone taking that appointment slot. It can move that fast.
Well, I did one yesterday.
Did you? Oh, you did. I saw it. Yeah.
Yesterday, within a period of cancellation, within 2 hours, I had a Saturday appointment filled. And this year, we the magic number we picked was 300. And we hit that 300 yesterday.
Yeah.
And I looked.
And that is what, 24 days before ahead of last year?
That was the second, and the last time we hit the 300 was October 27th.
Okay,
of
so
last year.
25
days.
25 days ahead of last year.
Yeah, and last year was the biggest year we ever did. We had all sorts of crazy levels of marketing going out for the entire year, and this year we do not have that opportunity.
Nope.
Because
shenanigans.
Because of shenanigans, and we've kept forward, and we've hit that, and a lot of those are new people.
Yes. We're having people we've never met before, which is pretty exciting for me because I like new faces. I mean, I love my clients. There's no question about that. But I like meeting new people. I like getting them taken care of. We've had what's being called a market disruption.
Yeah, that was one of the carriers said that.
Yeah.
Because we meet with insurance companies all throughout the year. And as we got closer to October 1st, we talked to each other.
Yeah.
And because we would know things that they wouldn't, and they would know things that we wouldn't. And you start to come up with this secret language.
That's true. It is a very secret language. I mean, I could have a conversation with Matt that you would not understand if you didn't know the language. We speak in shorthand, and it's not just because we're married, but we can speak in business shorthand and say things that in acronyms that just like we go, I have no idea what you said.
And in order to convey messages and get the flow between the two different groups like we had to come up with kind of some language. And one of the ones we used was market disruption.
Yeah.
Because it acknowledged the situation that was going on, and we needed to communicate, okay, how are we going to prepare for it? How are we going to change because we know the flow is disrupted. How are we going to adopt processes to make it easier for the consumer? And
one of the tricky things is because Medicare restricts us from telling clients what's going to be happening until October 1st is for plans that are changing. One of the major market disruptions we were not allowed to discuss. So we had to get the juices flowing, as it were, get the people interested using things we could talk about, like the Inflation Reduction Act.
Yes. And that was really, really key early on was doing what we normally do, because we talk about politics of health, of insurance all the time.
Oh yeah.
Because they are tied so closely together. And that's but we kind of developed that and neutralized. It's like, okay, how are you going to get materials to us?
Yeah.
Because we know that this is going to, and we had our first drop yesterday. We called up one of the carriers. Hey, we don't have enough of your materials.
Your product's going to be popular this year. We need more stuff.
We need more stuff. We need more stuff to share if you want to get your word out. And lo and behold, I'll be right there.
Yep, he showed right up, and that made me just tickled me. I didn't expect to see him yesterday. That particular representative for that particular insurance company is hitting a pretty broad region.
Yes.
And we were lucky to have him in our area, and we are happy to work with him. And he knows that we are excited and energized to take care of this and take care of his clients.
Well, yeah, we were saddened because we were literally across the street from an insurance company for years, last 2 years, and it made sharing of information and materials so easy.
It was so cool. We could literally take a person to the front door and say, them,
go there. And I know that they did the same with us, and it's important to have those because it's like it cut down on time. Having those resources, and I've done that more than once. It's like, oh, here, this is where you want to go to cross that street there, go up 3 blocks, and talk with them.
Exactly. It was kind of neat. It was kind of snazzy.
It's that small town flow.
Exactly. And I am going to miss that particular insurance company has left Washington State. And that's the major market disruption that one of the major market disruptions we're dealing with.
Because like I said, I know of 3 Medicare Advantage plans that are left the state.
Well, I'm just talking about Central Washington. But yeah, overall, lots of chance. Well, no, we lost 2 in Central Washington. One that wasn't a big gun.
You don't consider a big gun. It's still several hundred people.
It is. And I'm still going to take care. And I'm going to do everything I can to get their butts in here.
And so, yeah, we've developed, a couple months ago, it's like I joked for it. It's like, yeah, we're gonna get 1,000.
1,000 appointments or 1,000 people?
1,000 appointments.
It's possible.
It is very possible because when you have companies that leave for Medicare, you get extended enrollment periods.
That's right. We're going to actually have some opportunities for people whose plan was the one that boogied out, or ones that boogied out. We have extra time to take care of those clients.
Yes.
And that it's really, I don't want anyone to lose coverage. So I want everyone to get this solved before the end of the year.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because if your insurance plan has boogied out and left you hanging high and dry, and their contract is going to end the last day of the year,
December 31st,
and you don't do anything before January 1st, you are going to revert back to original Medicare without a drug plan.
And the clock starts ticking.
The clock starts ticking. If you don't get something done in 60 days, you start racking up your late enrollment penalty for your PDP plan.
February 28th.
That's February 28th is the deadline. If you don't have something in place, you are stuck for the rest of the year.
And that's part of the you got to depend on what pool you're in. I'm still getting people on a regular basis that said, "Hey, I didn't get my letter from my insurance company." It's like, set the appointment.
Yeah,
that's just been my knee jerk reaction. Just set the appointment.
We'll get you in here. We'll talk about it.
We'll get you in there and talk about it because it's not. Hey, here's your. It was interesting watching people come in, and they were like, because we built a library in our front.
We did
because we knew that people are going to want to see these new plans, and they're going to hold things and flip through books, and that's the natural reaction.
Exactly. And we're not gatekeeping this stuff.
And at the same time, they were like, "Oh, well, they're all the same." It's like, no, those are all different plans because they were used to the previous company with their one big book. For all their different plans. It's like, no, they've got them broken out into different groups for different sections.
Right.
And it makes for presentations a little bit harder. And so having this extended, hey, you can come, sit down, chill out, ask this, before your appointment, you can set it, you can go away, you can come back. We want to make sure that people are comfortable working with the information to whatever degree.
Exactly. And part of my workflow in that situation is using the tools available to me either through the website, through the insurance company's websites, or Medicare.gov. I love Medicare.gov because I can ethically compare different insurance companies side by side.
Yeah.
You can't just say stuff. You got to be able to show it. And Medicare.gov is a great resource for that. And that's available to everybody. But I can pick, plan A, plan B. I can do a side-by-side comparison. And
I think the side-by-sides are really critical.
I think this year especially. I didn't use side-by-sides a lot because there weren't as many choices in the previous years in Central Washington. I used them more when I was working with people over on over in like King and Pierce counties because they had a lot more choices.
Well, we've used them traditionally, the side-by-sides for
individual side-by-sides are critical.
And having those, that was the kind of the power of of an exchange, was having side-by-sides comparisons, like, oh yeah, this plan does better here, this plan does better there, and having an expert walk you through, okay, these are the minutia details.
Right, and it's a different language. It really is. There are words and phrases that are not used in everyday language, and if you do not know what an out-of-pocket maximum or a deductible or an MRI or a CT scan or any of the other language that they use, if you've not used that regularly, you're going, I don't really understand how this works.
Well, there's also a lot of assumptions made.
Yes.
And that's the big thing is I had someone come in and start to throw down assumptions. And it's like, they only do HMOs. Why does this say PPO on it? You are incorrect. Stop that.
Yeah, exactly.
Set the appointment. And we do that on a regular basis because healthcare is such a politically charged. There's groups out there that will virtue signal.
Yeah.
Because they're not trained. They will grab something and say, okay, this is awesome or super fantastico, or this is super horrible. And they will completely politicize it. Yeah.
And here's the thing. Because of that political bias and that, virtue signaling, what it's doing is it's locking down their brains in a lot of ways to say, okay, I'm not going to look at all of the options because this is what I think, or this is what I've been told is the only best option. Not every plan works for everybody.
There's and the reason I'm going with politicized brain here, it's not necessarily the consumer.
Okay, go ahead.
And the reason why I say it's not necessarily the consumer that has politicized it, because I see it a ton of times by people who are not eligible for Medicare. That is casting, dispersions on particular lines and saying, oh, well, hey, this is the only product, with zero regards on how they operate, with zero regards of the consumer, where they're at. And that creates a situation. It's like, oh, well, maybe I don't need this. And
I hear that a lot. Oh, I don't want this kind of plan because I hear it's horrible. It's like, okay, that's great. Let's take a look at all of the options. I'll explain it all to you. And you can make an informed decision. Medicare Advantage plans have a lower premium than a Medigap plan. Sometimes it's your best move because I'm not going there.
We see this across the board. I don't want to use an Obamacare plan.
Oh, Lord, yeah.
I don't want state insurance.
Yeah.
These are all politicized statements used to shame and discourage people from looking at all of the facts.
There you go.
And I just point blank, that's as clean as I can get it. And it doesn't, that jams up flows.
It does,
because you've had someone listen to it. I've actually said, hey, next time your sister says something like that,
you bring her in,
so that she can make the decision with you.
Absolutely.
And it's really that critical. And this 52 days is not a whole lot of enrollment period.
It's not. It's not a lot of hours in the day. And, I've got my schedule's opened up to a degree. I opened it up extra hours already. And I know I'm probably going to have to go deeper.
Yeah, we're going to do everything we can to help our neighbors. When I did food processing with Treetop, I've had a few of our former Treetop coworkers show up, and they look at it, it's like, and I tell them, yeah, we're going 7 days a week, 12-hour days, and they're like, oh, that's horrible. I was like, yeah, we did that at Treetop. Yeah. There's a labor shortage. Just point blank, there is a labor shortage. There is for just the Medicare plans that have been disrupted in our area, that's over 12,000 individuals.
Exactly. I'm going to do my best to take care of as many of them as I can. There are other brokerages and agencies in the area that are doing the same thing.
That's still, there's what, 20?
Yeah.
Maybe 40 at tops.
Yeah. For 12,000 people.
So it's tremendous. So one of the log jams that we've had encountered the last 3 years has been from the PEB program.
Oh, yeah.
The PEB is the Public Employee Benefits.
Yeah.
And they have a retirement plan that is for Medicare.
Yeah.
And every year they get updates. And every year we'll have at least a handful of people that come to us and say, hey,
how does my PEB plan work?
How does my PEB plan work? And in the last 2 years, we've had to really put our foot down and say, hey, you know what? This is run by the Healthcare Authority. They do not send out training for it.
They do not contract with brokers.
They do not contract. The one office you can get help is in Olympia. Here's your representative. Go talk with them.
Exactly. We do, because we have so many people that do not have, that we do have training for. We really need to talk. We need to be able to serve them.
Yeah. And it's one of those
I feel bad about it. I'm not happy about it.
We're not happy about it. However, there is points where we're in triage.
Yeah. That's what it boils down to. It is basically, battle triage in some points.
Yeah, it's like, hey, awesome. You've got a January birthday. We're gonna take care of you in December. We're not even gonna look at November. If you miss the October, December is your best option at this point.
September at that point. But yeah, we'll make it. Yeah, exactly. If you're looking at
we start to shift, and it becomes a need. It's like, okay, cool, and other people in our industry are starting to shift against the prescription plans. There's a conversation going on right now on whether or not different brokers will support prescription plans.
A lot of it is because of the moves from the insurance companies to save profit. And one of the ways they feel like they can save profit is by not commissioning brokers. And that's caused some conflict in there.
Well, yes.
But here's the thing. I don't care. I want my client to have the best plan available, regardless of whether or not I get paid for it.
You go through Medicare.gov.
Yes, I do.
So you can see the full scope. And that's always been important. That's always been a mandate. However, there are other brokers out there that are looking at just offering customer service for prescription plans.
Yeah.
And then there's reasons behind that.
Yeah.
It's because, yes, they are labor intensive.
Yeah. B,
the commissions are poor or non-existent.
Yeah.
So you've got the insurance company saying, hey, we need to make a profit. Hey, we need to throw these out there. And as Suzie said, hey, we went from 20 plans to 12 in our area.
Yeah.
So that there are massive levels of consumers that need help. They're getting to that top of that wild river rate, and they've got to go through this. And usually it's the folks that it's not, I don't have any prescriptions. It's, hey, I've got 7 or 8 prescriptions.
They're the ones that really need the conversation.
And they need to have the conversation. They need to be paying attention to their stuff, because they might have been, wandering around on the pavement, not even realizing that they need to get back up on the top of that ride,
Mm-hmm.
because it's going to be a quick one this year.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so here's my first thing. If
Mm-hmm.
you are a Medicare recipient, if you are on Medicare, read your mail from your insurance company this year. Okay, I know it's really easy just as like, oh, well, I don't need to talk. Yeah, read your mail from your insurance company this year.
We have said read your mail for 11 years.
Yeah,
and this year is
and I
no
know
exception.
I know you are getting a crap ton of mail from all kinds of places. Read the ones from the insurance company you have a contract with. They will tell you what's going on with their plans. Read that, make decisions based on that.
Here's the next thing. If you are connected with a broker, use them.
Yes, use them. It doesn't even have to be me.
If you're connected with a trained assister like Sheba,
yes, use them.
The next thing is, if you get strange calls from people you do not recognize,
mm-hmm. Do not
give out your information. Feel free to report the snot out of them.
Yes.
Because during times of great disruption, you will see an increase in
fraud. Straight up fraud.
Straight up fraud. And I imagine this year is just going to be horrible with it.
Oh yeah.
Because of this massive disruption that's going on in the marketplace.
Mm-hmm.
And it's to a vulnerable population.
It is.
It's why when people come in, it's like, here's the scope of appointment we need filled out 2 days in advance before you show up at our door.
Mm-hmm. Medicare insists we do that because the client needs to have boundaries as to what the broker can talk to them about.
Yep. And they can't talk about no car insurance. They can't talk about no life insurance.
Yep. We cannot cross-sell inappropriate
products.
And that's super cool.
So if you roll into an office and they start, no, during the meeting, it's like, no, we don't do that.
No.
It's just point blank. You can't do that. But in today's climate of, hey, let's do all this, it's like, no. So yeah, be careful out there. You are probably on a river ride, and you don't know it. If you want to check that mail of oh my gosh, let's go. A safe place to check it if you've got Medicare is Medicare.gov. Look at your zip code, see if your current coverages are in the area.
You can look at 2025 and you can look at 2024, and you will be able to compare. Talk to a local broker if you can. Okay. If you are in a rural area and you don't have somebody in your neighborhood, call somebody in your state. Try not to talk to people from out of state, okay? Because it's gonna happen. They're not supposed to, but it's gonna happen.
It's gonna be a wild, wild west. Because here's the thing: you want someone that oh my gosh, if something goes sideways, you want someone that's going to be around you. So find someone that's been doing this for a while.
And will advocate for you.
It's not someone that oh my gosh, the enrollment period's over, close the doors, go to Disneyland or go play golf. You want someone that does the work day in, day out, are there for you to answer questions and do the customer service that you need.
Yep, exactly.
Period.
All right, that's a good place to stop because you've got a dentist appointment.
I got a dentist appointment. So, hey, have a great day. We are out of there. Enrollment season, October 15th through December 7th is for Medicare, individual Medicare Advantage and
drug plans.
Prescription plans. And then October 15th through January 15th.
November 1st.
Through January 15th is for health plans.
Right. All right. So give us a call. We'll take care of you.
All right. Bye.
Bye.